paddles in. Alright everyone, welcome to New School Classics. We're in the 2022 C8R Edition hardtop convertible, and just smoked a Hellcat. And just got some pretty cool 360 footage. If you're wondering why I got gloves on, my hands tend to sweat, especially when I'm driving this car, because the adrenaline is just so heightened. So my hands tend to sweat, and I don't want to get it all over my beautiful Alcantara steering wheel. I've had this car since January now, so about 4 months. So I've learned the car. I know a lot about the car now, and man, what a car. Coming from my last mid-engine platform vehicle, the Audi R8 RWS, it was a great car. This just has its better features. It gets 30 miles to the gallon when you put it in tour mode. Obviously, this car has several different modes, but one of them is tour mode, and that comes with cylinder deactivation. So it turns your 8-cylinder into a 4-cylinder automatically when it's necessary, and you get about 30 miles to the gallon. Now, in that Audi R8, I do believe it was faster than this car by a hair. And it sure sounded great, but that car maybe got 10 miles to the gallon and 14 miles to the gallon when driving conservatively. So there was no gas savings in that car. And then you're talking parts and labor. I mean, that car gets expensive really quick. This car, not so much. It's an American car, so it's obviously just going to be cheaper in a lot of areas. And, you know, Chevy just did an amazing job on this car. So, bravo, Chevrolet, on the new C8 Corvette platform. It basically takes everything off the line, unless you have a Tesla Plaid. It might not take a Tesla Plaid off the line, or, you know, I don't know. I haven't raced that much stuff, but everything I have raced has hardly been competition for me in this car. And obviously it's just light little pulls on the road and stuff, not any serious track racing or drag racing going on. But, you know, just the normal neck of the woods kind of, oh, there's a car they want to play, let's play. So a lot of that, especially with my license plate now, Take Yo L, that seems to spark a fire inside some of these cars out here. But I love the steering wheel shape. It has got a nice, what they call squircle. It is a mix between a circle and a square, and I really find it very nice to hold with the paddle shifters. Some people like the paddle shifters to stay stationary when you turn the wheel. I think it actually makes more sense that the paddle shifters turn with the wheel, because you can keep your hands there and you don't have to worry about finding the shifter if you're in the middle of the turn. You probably shouldn't be shifting in the middle of a turn anyway, maybe right upon exit. But I really like the shifter placement. Everything feels just super high quality in here. This is the 3LT with the Z51. The C8R Edition does come standard with the 3LT and Z51 packages. So this is the top of the line C8 Corvette that you can get right now. And there was only 1,000 of these made. So right here we have a little Jake skull that says C8R, and it's number 882 out of 1,000. So I like the exclusivity there. It's not just your regular C8. You do see a lot of C8s, not a lot, but you do see a fair amount of C8s. And this one just has that little extra edge of coolness factor, because it does replicate the GTLM IMSA winning C8R race car. So in 2021, Corvette Racing won a ton of races and won the series in GTLM IMSA series with their C8R race car. So Chevy decided to release this as an ode to their winning season with the C8R. So it's got the C8R stripes, it's got the yellow paint, it's got the number 3 on the back to represent the number 3 car, and it's full of Jake skulls and just super cool. It's still your regular C8 engine, the LT2 pushrod V8. The C8R does not upgrade that engine or the transmission in any way. However, it does upgrade the interior and the exterior, and comes standard with the Z51 and 3LT package. So the only way you're going to get this beautiful white dash set up in these beautiful cool gray, it's actually sky cool gray. It looks kind of white though. The only way you're going to get this interior with the yellow stitching and the sky cool gray on the dash, the sky cool gray seats, the yellow seat belts, is if you get this C8R. But yeah, Alcantara everywhere. My entire wheel, Alcantara. Headliner, all Alcantara. We've got carbon fiber in the doors, carbon fiber in the dash, full digital display, another full digital display here. More carbon fiber in the door there. We got more carbon fiber here for the mode selector. This car does have front lift. So if I ever come across an incline or decline that's too thick of an angle, I can just hit that button, and within about 10-15 seconds the front is completely raised. The convertible top I can put down on a whim. whenever I want, as long as I'm doing 30 miles per hour or under. All I got to do is hold this button down, all the windows roll down, the top folds back, and same thing when I'm ready to put it up. As long as I'm doing 30 miles an hour or under, I can just put that top right back up in the push of a button, which is an expensive option for the C8, but totally worth it if you like the open top experience, because you know, it's just taking that top on and off, and you know, once you take it off, it's kind of like you're stuck having it off. And if it's too hot, you know, then now you got to stop somewhere and put it back on. With the convertible top, you don't have to worry about none of that. It's just one push of a button. It's very easy also to switch from automatic to manual. You just have this M button right here. You push it once, you're in manual. Now you can use your paddles. It's also very easy to switch to your other modes. I have a very convenient little Z button here, which you can set up to exactly how you want it set up. Your suspension, your engine sound, how hard your transmission shifts. You've got all kinds of settings that you can customize. So what I find super convenient about the Z button, as opposed to using the mode selector, is it's much more on the fly. So right now I'm in tour mode, which has the most relaxed suspension setting, which is great for a road that is not perfectly smooth. You don't want to destroy your suspension. So if you're ready to drive a little more spiritedly, all you got to do is now hit this Z button, because I've programmed it to the way I want it for aggressive driving. So when I'm ready to drive aggressively, I just hit the Z button like this. Boom. Now you can hear the exhaust get a little bit louder, and I'm still in automatic mode. But what I'll usually do is I'll hit the Z button, and then I'll hit this manual button here. You can hear a little bit of that louder exhaust right there when it on the downshifts. But what's great about having the Z button here is, since my suspension is now tighter, if I see a bump approaching, a heavy bump, I can quickly just hit this button and boom, goes right back into tour mode, and my suspension is saved, rather than fumbling around with this dial. You know, you try to grab this dial to switch it back into tour mode, you wind up turning it the wrong way and it goes into track mode, and your suspension gets even stiffer. Then by that time you hit the bump and you're just like, and your suspension is getting whammed. So the Z button was a great idea. It does have radio control. I got volume, I got skip track. I do have cruise control. I've never used it yet, but I'm sure it works just like any other cruise control. I'm not sure if it's adaptive or not. I don't think it does have adaptive cruise control, but correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I've just never tried to use it yet. Weird thing I noticed about this car is when I first got it, on a full tank, it would show me my range on the dash above 350 miles of range. And what I notice now is when I fill up here in Georgia, as opposed to where I bought the car in Kentucky, my range has decreased on a full tank to only about 315 miles. So I'm wondering if they're dumbing down the gas a little bit here in Georgia, with maybe more ethanol content than gasoline. Maybe the gas here has higher ethanol content, and the systems in here that measure the range of the car just somehow knows the content of ethanol maybe, and it knows it can calculate the range that way. but I do specifically remember getting over 350 miles of range when I first got this car. Now that could have been because I was breaking it in, and at the time my revs were limited to, I think, 4,000 RPMs. So I'm wondering if maybe the system was factoring my rev range in the equation. Just a guess. It's still a mystery. If you have any idea on what that may be, then let me know in the comments. Let's do some pulls here. Throw it in the Z mode, throw it in the manual mode. Now if you hold this left shifter, it'll drop down to the lowest gear, but be sure to let it go as soon as it drops down. Second gear. Here we go, let's race the Camry. Just instantaneous dual clutch shifts, just like the R8. And it makes this beautiful little pop sound. If you hit it just right, and you got the windows down or the top window down, or if you got the windows down or if you got the top down, it'll make these beautiful little pops at the peak of the shifts, which is great. I don't remember the Audi R8 making those cool little pops. So, a cool plus for the C8 Corvette. The way this thing handles, it is just on rails. Feels like a roller coaster on rails. We do have the heads-up display, which I have my digital dash here and my heads-up display in track mode because I just like the way that looks. It looks more like a race car to me. And I had to train myself to look at the heads-up display when driving spiritedly. But once you get used to it, it really, really makes a difference in your driving, because you know your heads-up display, when you reach that peak RPM to shift to the next gear, it starts flashing red, and you still got your eyes on the road. You're not looking down at the digital gauge. We got a Mustang GT over here. I'm gonna see if he wants to pass me. And oh, it's an old lady. She's not going to want to play. See if she wants to pass me on my left. That way we might get it on camera. It's an old lady driving a Mustang GT though. She's not going to want to do any of that. Yeah, she's staying back. Well, good for her. We got a large section of controls here. We do have the heated seats. We do have the cooled seats. Auto air conditioning. We got defrost, front and rear. My rear view mirror here, I can switch between digital. There's that camera out back that gives me the camera view on my rear view mirror, which I really like. I prefer the digital. When you do put the top down, however, the camera is tucked away, so you can no longer use the digital. So you have to use the regular mirror when the top is down. Both the side mirrors have the auto dimming. If anybody's got bright lights behind you, it's got that auto dimming feature. Take it out of Z mode here. These bridges tend to get a little bumpy. But in tour mode, this car does handle the bumps quite well. I do notice in the Mustang GT, whatever suspension it has on there, it's not adjustable, but it handles all the imperfections of the road so well. I guess it's just a really soft suspension setup. And of course we have the MagneRide suspension on here, which sends electric current through the magnetic suspension to tighten it and soften it. But in tour mode, this car handles bumps quite well. Like I said, not as good as a Challenger or a Mustang, but this car just sits a little lower. It's a little more extreme. So it's just more of a race car, so it's not going to handle the bumps too well. But I have to give them props on how well it does handle it in the soft suspension setting. We do have the Bose Performance Series audio system in here, which sounds amazing. I can't even turn it all the way up, it's so loud. I feel like the glass might break. So really good audio system. I think the Bose Performance Series will come standard with your 3LT package. This is a premium only engine, of course. You do not want to put anything less than 93 octane in this baby. I guess 91 if you live in California would be alright. I've done a couple small little mods. Obviously, first thing I did was the paint protection film. Second thing I did was the Paragon Performance catch can. Third thing I did was these plastic door sill covers, so your beautiful Stingray emblem on your door sill doesn't get messed up. But that's about it as far as mods. I don't think this car needs much more besides the paint protection film and the catch can and a couple little protective items. I love the center console display here. Very easy to navigate through. It does have your Apple CarPlay, your Android Auto, and it connects effortlessly to your phone. Your phone has a spot right back here, and it is a wireless charger spot right there. So you slip it in right there, and it wirelessly charges your phone. I can see my battery life on my phone. I can access my phone through my screen. I can make a phone call right here by pressing the speak button and starting a phone call. Also, another thing I failed to mention, I have heated steering wheel as well. I don't use it too often. I do find that these gloves keep my hands quite warm. And if you did turn on the heated steering wheel without the gloves, it would certainly warm your hands, but then your hands would start to sweat. So these gloves are great. I need to start producing my own version of these gloves because these are touchscreen gloves. So that's why these are just really awesome. I can protect my Alcantara on my steering wheel while still having complete access to my touchscreen and my phone if need be, without having to take off the gloves. So super positive there. If you want to rev like these guys, you can just pull these paddles in. Get a little rev there. there. One other thing to point out that I've already pointed out, I believe, in some other videos on this car, is that your normal operating temperature, when you put it in track mode, it shows you all your temp gauges. That's why that's another reason why I really like my gauge in track mode, is because it puts all your temperature gauges up. I can see my oil pressure, I can see my transmission temperature, I can see my oil temperature, and I can see my engine temperature. So, and my tire temperature as well, and my tire pressure. So, really nice to have a view of those things. However, your operating temperature for the transmission and the oil and the engine on this car is all going to be about 170. So if you own this car, or if you get in this car and take it for a drive one day, don't stress the engine out. Don't take it to the limiter. Don't rev it out to 6,500 RPM if the temperatures are not all at least 160, 170. The car is just not ready to be abused if those temperature gauges are not 160, 170.
Well, alright guys,
Thanks for watching. This is going to be a short little review, a short video. My camera is overheating and the battery is about to die. But thank you for watching New School Classics. Be sure to like and subscribe.